Okay, week one, arm workout one. This is Tuesday, and I know you guys are probably thinking, man, I don't want to sit here and watch these fat and gross dudes work out. Well, we're not going to be fat and gross forever. We're showing actual real results day by day, week by week, month by month. So as long as you keep watching, eventually our fat and gross bodies won't be so fat, won't be so gross. So this first workout, I start off with straight bar curls. I do 4 sets of 8 to 12, and I try to hold it out strict and get a nice concentration at the top with a squeeze. And then when I get to the end of the set, I like to use body English and get as many reps as I can and just really hammer that bicep as hard as I can. And this isn't the fun stuff. This isn't the exciting stuff. This isn't the part where you have the magical before and after photos and we fast forward 6 months or a year later and then show you our results. This is the stuff that nobody wants to see and nobody wants to pay attention to. Like, they want to see the overnight success stories. They want to see the all of a sudden, boom, it's done, it's over with. Here you go, here's the end results. How did I get here? I got here in 12 seconds from my video. No, it takes longer than that. Realistically, it is a long process to get the body that you want, and it's a day in and day out repetitive thing, doing the same workout, the same reps, the same sets, going up in weight, going up in reps, eating the same food, changing food, upping food, downing food. It's a repetitive process over and over and over again. There's nothing glamorous. There's nothing exciting. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just consecutive work consistently and trying to push harder every single time you're in the gym. Every time you're eating a meal, sticking to your food, sticking to your diet, prepping your food, making sure you have your meals whenever you're ready to eat or you need to eat, getting in your reps, getting in your set, getting in your rest. You know, this is the stuff that it's the tedious, boring things that makes it not desirable to stick to it because it's a long-term process. It's not an overnight success. So as you guys saw in the previous workout there, we went from straight bar curls to dumbbell curls. We also like to hold, squeeze, and pause. Then as we get towards the end of the set, we like to whip it up and get as many reps in there as we can as we fatigue. Then from there, we move to preacher curl bench. Now, obviously, this is a strict form, but what I do here is I put the pad low enough so I can rest the bar on the bar rest. So I let the weight come to a dead stop at the bottom like a deadlift or whatever, and I let it be a complete pause and take the tension off the bicep while still flexing the bicep, and then I like to come back into another rep. So I kind of do it more intense because I'm not just moving the weight. I'm not just trying to bang out as many reps as I can. I'm doing it slow. I'm doing it methodical, and I'm trying to get the actual bar to come to a dead stop, rest, and re-engage. Now, Richard's sitting up higher on the pad, but also he has a shorter torso. He has a thicker torso, and he has shorter arms. So his arms can't touch the arm rest with the bar, or the bar rest, or the rack, or whatever, however you want to say it and everything. But if he lowered that pad down or stood up some, he'd be able to get that bar to come to a dead rest. But he gets a good stretch in the bottom of these, which is a great thing to do too. I don't like getting a stretch at the bottom of these because it actually hurts my elbow, because the way that my triceps are, I feel like I hyperextend my elbow and it just hurts. So I don't like to do a full extension on my arm. I don't care what anyone says. You got to get a deep stretch at the bottom. I don't care. It hurts my elbows. I don't do it because I don't like it. After that, we move to hammer curls. Same thing, 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. In the last set, we try to get as many as we can. We start off with nice form, trying to hold it strict. And then at the end of the set, we swing it and try to get as many as we can. So Richard's looking nice and plump right here. You can see how thick his midsection is and his waist. And pay attention to this midsection because as the weeks go on, it's going to be going down smaller and smaller and smaller. He's fat and gross right now, just like I am. But as the weeks go on, you're going to see that stomach getting smaller and smaller, and then that belly just coming down. Then he's going to have to wear tighter clothes and smaller clothes. And eventually, he'll probably be shirtless like myself. So after the biceps, we move to triceps. Tuesday night, we start with biceps. Then we go to triceps. So this bar right here weighs 60 pounds. And this is a JM press, or at least a variation of a JM press. So I like to bend the elbows and then stretch the bar behind my head as far as I can get it. And this puts a lot of stretch and tension on that tricep. This downward position right here, my triceps are stretching and they're hurting like crazy, right? Not hurting, but they're on fire. And then from there is whenever I pull the bar back over my head and then I press it up. These are very difficult to do, and they do not take a lot of weight to do. And then whenever I got done on my last set, I banged out a couple little close grip bench press right here, or close grip press, however you want to say it and everything, just to kind of try to get a little extra reps on the set and everything. So Richard comes in, he couldn't handle the 60-pound bar, which is reasonable. It's been about a year since he's actually worked out. So he got the easy curl bar, and that bar right there is probably around 25 pounds, I believe. I think it's around 25 pounds. And for him never doing these without me having to coach him or show him how to do it, he did them actually amazing. And in fact, I'd even say he did them better than I did, because look at how deep and long his stretch is right there. That's almost like a pullover for your lats and everything in your chest, not so much your triceps. But I guarantee you the stretch in his triceps was absolutely amazing. So regardless of what it looks like or what you think it's supposed to train or what you think it's supposed to work out, give him a shot. If you never tried them before, then you can see where you feel it at. And if you feel it predominantly in your triceps, go for it. If you feel it somewhere else, don't do it, because I don't care. I like doing them. I do them. And I'm not trying to tell anyone how to work out. I'm not a guru. I'm not a guy who's like, if you want to get your arms this big, you got to do this. If you want your legs to look like this, you have to do these 3 movements. If your back's not growing, this is why it's not growing. I'm not that guy. I'm telling you guys what I do and what works for me. Now, what you guys do and what works for y'all have to figure that out. Y'all's rep range, y'all's amount of sets, amount of volume, all that stuff. After those JM press, we go to overhead tricep extensions. I try to keep it nice and slow and controlled. And towards the end, when I fatigue, I do a couple little partial reps at the top just to burn the tricep out as much as possible. So back to what I was saying. As far as it goes for what works for you guys, some exercises I like to do 8 to 12. Some I like to do 15 to 20. It just depends on what the exercise is. My shoulders, I keep them light. Everything else about 8 to 12, depending on what movement I do. There is no one size fits all. There is no like, if you do these 3 workouts, guaranteed your arms are going to grow. You can't make false promises and claims to people like that, because you don't know if that's going to work for them or not. And especially if you're doing a movement that hurts your joint, it hurts your shoulder, it hurts your elbow, your knee, or your hip, and you're not feeling it in the muscle, you're feeling it in the joint, or you're feeling pain somewhere else, or you're straining, but you're not experiencing any muscle fatigue or muscle burn or muscle pumping, chances are that's not a good movement for you to do. It's just causing you more agony and pain for no reason. Find the workouts that you like to do, that you enjoy to do, and those are typically the ones that you're going to feel the absolute best. Like these tricep kickbacks, these cable kickbacks, a lot of people, they talk trash about them and say it's a pointless movement, it's a junk volume, there's no reason for it. But I feel that in the back of my tricep better than any other movement that I've ever done. It doesn't matter what movement I've done, free weights, dumbbells, barbells, cables, that cable kickback I feel in the inside back area of my tricep better than anything else. So don't tell me it's not working and it's junk volume, because I can feel it and I get a phenomenal tricep pump when I'm done with that exercise. The back of my tricep just balloons up like someone blew air into it, and it feels amazing. And then people tell me, oh, you're doing junk volume. You're doing 16 sets per body part, per exercise, and then you're doing 32 sets per week. That's junk volume. That's junk volume. Well, just because 5 sets worked for you doesn't mean it worked for me. I used to be a power lifter. I did the 3 to 5 sets. I did the 5 to 8 sets per week. I did the twice a week, once a week. I did so many different routines when it came to powerlifting with low volume, high intensity, the moderate volume, the high intensity. I've done it all. And when it comes to putting on size, what works the absolute best for me is a volume junkie, as much volume as I can recover from. Is it going to be the same for you? I don't know, but it could be. But you won't know what you can recover from until you push the limits. Well, if you're not, you don't have to get sore to grow. Okay. You don't have to get sore to get results. Okay, cool. That's for you. I don't get sore either. I might be sore the next day, but if I work out Monday, I might be sore on Tuesday. Come Wednesday, I'm not sore no more. I'm training again Thursday. So I can handle 16 sets per body part twice a week, and I recover from that perfectly. I'm not sore, and I'm not fatigued, and I'm not overworked. I went 12 weeks working out, doing a lot of volume like this. I don't burn out because I don't use too much weight. I use controlled movements, slow negatives, static holds, and then hard contractions at the top. I'm not doing 600-pound deadlifts for sets of 5. I'm not doing 500-pound squats for sets of 5 and then frying my central nervous system, then crying that, oh my goodness, my central nervous system, I'm fatigued, I need a deload, I can't handle this much volume, it's too much volume. Well, yeah, if you're lifting ridiculous amounts of weight, you are going to burn out and fatigue. How big do you think your deltoid is? How big do you think your front delta or your rear delta is? They're not big muscles. They don't require a lot of weight, at least for me. It requires a volume. It's a stabilizer joint. It's a stabilizer muscle. It moves in a 360-degree plane of motion. You don't need a ridiculous amount of weight to get it to grow. You need controlled static loads. Now, again, this is for me. I'm not going to say it's for everybody. But to sit there and say, oh, you're doing too much volume and it's junk volume, speak for yourself, right? Do it for yourself and find out. I'm eating a ridiculous amount of food too, so I'm recovering from my workouts. I eat 450 grams of protein a day and around 200 to 250 carbs a day. I eat 6 meals a day, 2 pounds of red meat, 2 pounds of yogurt, and a bunch of other stuff in between that. So the amount of food that I'm taking in, the amount of calories I'm getting is about 3,600 a day. So me working out 6 days a week and doing mild cardio, I'm able to train like this. Now, if I was spending 45 minutes to an hour on the cardio, maybe doing that 1 to 2 times a day, 6, 7 days a week, yeah, I couldn't train like this. If I was deadlifting and squatting 4, 5, 600 pounds for reps, I couldn't train like this, but I'm not. My loads are my workouts are concentrated on loading the muscle, contracting the muscle, flexing the muscle, squeezing the muscle, and working the muscle. It's not geared towards overloading. And people, oh, you got to lift this much weight. Oh, if you squat 405, you'll have big legs. That's not true. That is not true. Squatting 405 doesn't mean you're going to have big legs. Look at some of these powerlifters that can squat 600, 700 pounds and tell me their legs are big. There's some skinny guys out there that are 180 pounds with small legs that can squat and deadlift 600, 700 pounds. So it's not always about the weight. It's not about the weight when it comes to hypertrophy. Now, for some people that make the ladder, absolutely it is. But it just irritates me whenever people try to sit there and say, this or that is the way to do it, and there's no other in between. You have to find what works for you. So anyway, let me talk about the shoulders. I know that done passed, but with the shoulders, when I start with a shoulder press, I like to do 4 sets of 8 to 12. And then whenever I go to front laterals, side laterals, and reverse pec deck, I do 4 sets of 20. And I try to do the movement all the way through without stopping and getting a good burn in the muscle. And that's how I train my shoulders. I do the same routine on my shoulders twice a week. I don't change it. I don't vary it. Doing heavy weight only hurt my shoulders and my joints and caused stuff to pop and tear. I tore my front delt twice, shoulder pressing 270 pounds, 275 for sets of 8. I did nothing but tear my shoulders up. When I dropped the weight and started doing side laterals and front laterals and bent over laterals for sets of 20 consecutive with the same weight every set, and then slowly moved up as the weeks went on, my shoulders started blowing up. That's when my shoulders started getting massive, at least massive to me and what my results are. So change it up, play with it, and then do it for yourself. Just don't take it for like the gospel just because you heard someone else who had a decent looking arm say this is the way you do this. It's not true. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger versus Mike Mincer. They're both completely different training styles but produce great results. Would one work for the other? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But anyways, that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and until tomorrow.